There are moments in your life when helping someone feels holy, noble, and compassionate until it destroys your peace. Sometimes, the biggest battles you face don't come from your enemies, but from the people you tried to save. And what if I told you that the reason you feel drained, used, confused, or spiritually exhausted is because you have been helping people God never assigned to you? People He actually warned you about. Because not every cry for help comes from a sincere heart. Not every hand you reach out to lift wants to stand. And not every broken person wants healing, they just want company in their brokenness. Today, we're exposing the 7 types of people God says you must not help, no matter how kind your heart is. Click information after 1 minute, and here's the truth most people never understand. Helping the wrong people won't just delay your blessing. It can destroy your purpose. It can drain years, sabotage your calling, and entangle you in emotional, spiritual, and financial trauma that God never intended for your life. When God warns you not to help someone, He's not being cruel. He's protecting your destiny. So if you've been feeling used, if your kindness has turned into regret, or if your spirit has been troubled after helping someone, this message is exactly what you need to hear. Hook number 1, 2-minute mark, because the most dangerous people in your life are not the ones shouting in your face. They're the ones silently draining your soul while smiling at you. And many of them wear the mask of I just need help one more time. Let's begin. 1. The person who refuses to change, even after you help them. There is a difference between someone who needs help and someone who depends on being helpless. You know, this type of person. They cry, complain, beg for rescue, and promise to do better until the moment you help them. Once things improve, they go right back to the same choices, the same decisions, the same chaos, and then come back to you again. These are people who don't want transformation. They want relief. They don't want growth. They want escape. And God warns you about them because no matter how many times you pour into them, they remain empty. Not because they're broken, but because they refuse to take responsibility for their own life. You cannot save someone who is committed to their own destruction. A person who refuses to change will turn your help into a lifestyle, not a stepping stone. They will consume your energy, your emotional strength, your time, your finances, and your mental peace, and still be exactly where they were months or even years ago. Helping them is like pouring water into a cracked jar. No matter how much you feel, it never stays. If someone refuses to pick up their own life, God will allow your spirit to feel drained every time you try to carry them. Mini hook 4 minutes, remember this. And if you keep helping someone God is trying to discipline, you'll end up fighting God's process and losing your peace in the process. 2. The people who never check on you, never ask how you're doing, never show love, support, or karentil, they need something. They take your kindness as a guarantee, not a gift. People who use you will always see your help as your responsibility. This is the type of person God warns you about because they don't value you, they value your access, your time, your energy, your empathy, and your generosity. And the moment you stop giving, they stop calling. The moment you set boundaries, they disappear. God doesn't want you to carry relationships built on convenience. Love is mutual, support is mutual. Respect is mutual. If someone only shows up for withdrawals, but never deposits back into your life, they're not a friend, they're a thief. Always remember this. 3. The person who drains your emotional and spiritual peace. This is one of the most dangerous types. These are the people who bring constant drama, negativity, conflict, chaos, or emotional instability into your life. Every time they show up, something heavy follows. They complain about everything, blame everyone, expect you to carry their feelings, and never bring any peace, joy, or direction. And here's the chilling part. Your strength becomes their security. You are not someone's emotional trash can. You are not a dumping ground for chaos. You cannot be someone's permanent lifeline. While they refuse to take accountability for their own healing, when someone consistently drains you, it is a warning from God that you are being spiritually pulled into battles that are not yours. Your spirit senses what your heart tries to ignore. You feel heavy, tired, anxious, or confused whenever they call or visit because your spirit is discerning something your emotions don't want to confront. Mini hook 8 minutes. Let me say it plainly. 4. The person who takes advantage of your forgiveness. This type is subtle, manipulative, and often emotionally intelligent. They know you're kind. They know you forgive it. They know you have a soft heart. They never truly change. They just reset the cycle. They disappear, then apologize. And here's the painful truth. This type of person drains your self. They teach you to lower your standards. They condition you to tolerate mistreatment. They train your heart to normalize emotional wounds. And God warns you about them because they are destroying the version of you He created. God's destiny for you requires self-respect, clarity, confidence, and emotional strength. Someone who repeatedly hurts you is working against God's plan, not with it. Mini hook, 10 minutes. Let this sink in. 5. The person who refuses to help themselves, you can pray for them. Advise them, guide them, support them, encourage them, but they will not move. Not because they can't, but because they don't want to. These are people who expect rescue without responsibility. They want improvement without effort. They want blessings without discipline. You can give them resources, opportunities, tools, ideas, money, connections, guidance, but nothing changes. They sit, complain, wait, expect, depend, and drain. And this puts you in a dangerous spiritual position. Because if you become someone's idol, someone they rely on instead of God, God will step back and allow that relationship to break. Not to punish you, but to realign them with Him. If someone refuses to help themselves, your continuous help will not save them, it will cripple them. Mini hook 12 minutes. Write this on your heart. 6. The person who makes you walk on eggshells. Silence is never peaceful when you're afraid to break it, even when nothing is wrong. That is a spiritual warning. Anyone who forces you to hide parts of yourself, your joy, your personality, your dreams, your truth is not someone you are meant to keep close. People who make you walk on eggshells often use their emotions as weapons. They punish you with silence. They withhold affection. They explode easily. They blame quickly. They twist conversations. They control through tension. Helping these people becomes a trap. You start sacrificing your own peace just to keep them calm. You start fixing problems you didn't cause. You start apologizing for things you didn't do. You start losing yourself, trying to keep the peace in a place God never asked you to stay. God warns you about these people because fear-based relationships lead to spiritual suffocation. And nothing healthy grows in fear. Mini HOOK, 4 minutes. Remember this forever. 7. The person God has already removed from your life. This one hurts the most. Through a slow emotional disconnect. Through a shift in your spirit. Maybe they were distracting you from purpose. Maybe they were delaying your growth. We chase. We fix. We reconnect. We reopen doors that God locked for our protection. And when you try to help someone God removed, you are stepping out of His covering and into unnecessary pain. Here's the sobering truth.